I heard all 4 doors open. One of the males said, "Shut up, don't say a word, put your head down." Someone tried to pull me out of the right-hand side of the car. I hung onto the center console. I didn't want to get out. I eventually turned my body and tried to get out. I put my right leg out the door. When I put my left leg out, I felt someone grab it and twist my left foot inwards. This was extremely painful, and I thought my leg was going to break. As they were twisting my leg, I turned onto my stomach and crawled out of the car. Keep in mind, these are just details from Stephen's second statement. In his first, he details being stabbed in the car, but we'll continue. I ended up lying face down on what I believe was a concrete driveway. The concrete was light grey in colour. It looked like old concrete. One male said, "Get up, get up." I did, and they walked me into the garage. My head was still down and covered. I could only see the ground. Stephen's statement then alleges that he's repeatedly assaulted and then threatened and held against his will in this garage. I could slightly see through a gap. Olsen in front of me, he punched me in the face and I immediately put my hands up in defense. He said, "Put your hands down." I put them down. Olsen swung again and punched in the face, and I put my hands up. I remember he was breathing heavy. I then started to be repeatedly assaulted again by Olsen, only now he was using a 4x2 wooden plank. It was painted a very light grey blue colour. He was hitting to my face and arms. During this time I saw Charlie D. He was with Tony and Olsen was still in the garage. I know Charlie D through work when I was in security. He had caused a problem at one of the clubs I was working at in 2007. Tony, Charlie and Olsen had a conversation. I heard one of them say, "What are we going to do with him?" I heard Charlie say, "Just cut him up and chuck him in the river." Everyone left me for a short time in the garage alone. Moments later, Olsen came back in and tied my hands and feet with cable ties and then gaffer tapes around the ties. Olsen then punched me in the right eye. I knew I was bleeding because I felt blood run down my face. He then punched me in the left eye and I felt immediate pain. I saw stars. He left me sitting on the ground, now with my hands and feet tied, and the cover was now off my head. I think it just fell off. Olsen turned the light out, walked out of the garage and pulled down the roller door. I heard a padlock lock on the outside. Sometime later, the roller door opened and walked in. He was alone, was carrying a bottle of water, came over to me and helped me have a drink. As my hands were tied, I could not hold the bottle, so he held it to my mouth and tipped water in. I could see the bottle was the Fiji brand and was a rectangular bottle. It was clear and the water inside was ice cold like it was straight out of the fridge. Was carrying a torch or something, so he did not turn the light on. He said, "Are you alright?" I said, "No, I'm f***ed." Left the bottle beside me in the garage and left, closing the roller door again behind him. Sometime later, approximately half an hour, the roller door opened and Olsen and Charlie walked in. They turned the light on. One of them said, "Get up, get up." They helped me to my feet and set me on a chair. The same chair I described in my other statement. They tied my body to the chair. My arms were also tied to the back of the chair around my elbows. My hands were left cable tied and gaffer tapes. However, they cut my feet and re-cable tied them to the legs of the chair. They left the garage, turning off the light and closing the garage door again. My version from here is exactly as I stated in my original statement. However, at some stage, I believe it was the following day, Tony K came into the garage and he was with his cousin. I know of Tony's cousin through working at clubs. Andy Nahas has also mentioned him. I have seen him before, however never spoken with him. Charlie D was with them. They were in the garage with me for about 20 minutes, and during this time Tony K stood on my face and continually told me don't look up. The other two were saying stuff, but I don't remember what they were saying. At one stage I was lying on my side and Tony was standing on my face. Tony said, "Go and get the bolt cutters. We're going to cut your toes off and send them to your mum." I screamed, "No, no, no, no," and I started kicking and moving. Tony K said, "Okay, we won't do that. We will cut your finger off and send it to your mum. You won't bleed though, because we will burn the metal and hold it where we cut your finger off and it will stop the bleeding." Tony K then said, "Look up." I could see he was holding a piece of sponge. It was like greeny colour and it looked like an underlay. He said, "Put this in your mouth so you don't scream when we cut your finger off." I could see Tony K was holding a pair of garden shears and had them open around my left thumb. I thought he was going to cut my left thumb off. He just stopped and let me go. Tony K then said you have two options. You can either let me shoot you in both of your knees and we will drop you off at the hospital and let you go, or you can think of who is going to come up with $50,000 for us. I said, I don't know who's going to have that kind of money, mate, and I don't have my phone and can't go through it. Tony K said, well, think of someone and I'll leave you here for a few hours. You are a waste of time and having you here is a risk because people will start to know. Stephen's first statement then details multiple phone calls between him and his mother in a desperate attempt to raise the $50K. Seemingly after these fail, one of these men gets spooked and releases Stephen, but only after he spent a night locked up in the garage. In his first statement, Stephen, like he did with Tony, refuses to identify this man, but his second statement reads as follows. Was the person who took me home. There was no one else there that day. The reason I did not tell the police this part of my version when I first made my statement was because I'm extremely scared of these people. During the time they held me, they repeatedly told me that if I told police or anyone went to the police, that I'd be dead. No one would ever find me, and they would do the same to my family. What they did to me, they had people on standby to do it. From this experience, I believed this to be true. I truly think that they would hurt or kill me and my family. They already hurt me so badly I thought I was going to die, and this is why I am truly fearful for my life and my family's. I am so scared that they will do more bad. They know where my family live. Since the incident, I have been in hiding because I'm scared they will come and kill me. After being released by Stephen goes to his parents' house, then immediately to hospital where he's treated for broken left eye socket, head trauma, severe bruising to face and eyes, stab wound to the left side of his chest, cut to his right eyebrow, severe bruising to both his arms, constant headache, chipped front lower teeth, severe swelling to face, eyes, neck and arms. But the ordeal apparently isn't over for Stephen, as police allege that whilst he was being treated in hospital, a group of men came looking for him. The police statement reads as follows. While Stephen Toy was at Westmead Hospital, Mustafa Jawad, Tony K and another male separately entered the emergency reception area of Westmead Hospital. CCTV footage obtained from the hospital depicts Jawad, Tony and in the foyer of the emergency ward. At one point, all three meet up and sit in a group on provided chairs. At various points, is seen to approach the reception desk. On one occasion, Tony is present at the reception desk with him. CCTV depicts Jawad gaining access to the ward while Stephen's mother was in the ward waiting for the complainant, who had been taken for a CT scan. She indicates that a male matching the description of Jawad walked down the aisle and seemed to be looking into each separate bed area. He looked like he was trying to find someone. She heard him speak to a nurse and say, "That guy that has been bored in and was bashed in the last 2 days, can you tell me what his first name is?" She reports that the nurse said surname and the response was no first name. The nurse said, "You'll have to go to the front desk." Stephen's mother reports that the nurse told her that there had been an inquiry about her son. Stephen's mother asked her to find out their name and who they claimed to be. She indicated that a short time later, one of the administration spoke to her and indicated that there had been a man saying his name was and he was Stephen's brother-in-law. The complainant was made anonymous for hospital purposes. Stephen then makes the two statements to the police, one on the 18th of April and the other on the 24th. The second one I just read the bulk of. This seemingly leads the police to wiretap the phones of the accused. On the 9th of May, Stephen Toy texts Andy Nahas the following. "You had nothing to do with it. I told I'd seen you before I was going to my mum's house, and then I drove off and then stopped to make a call. Then I got bashed and robbed. And when I was in hospital, they thought I was a bikie and everything. I'm not. I just told them I got bashed and robbed, bro. I didn't mean to put you in. I told them it had nothing to do with you. I just seen you quickly before it happened. That's it. I was full f***ed in hospital on morphine and I had 3 detectives screaming at me, bro. I gave them the biggest blow-ass story, man. I'm sorry that they busted your balls." The police statement also detailed phone calls, lawfully intercepted telephone communications, recorded extensive phone conversations / SMS messages between Andy Nahas and Stephen Toy in relation to the kidnapping. Further conversations / SMS contact was then had between Andy Nahas and Tony K. On one occasion, 9th of May 2009, during an exchange of a number of SMS messages between Andy Nahas and Stephen Toy about the offence, Stephen Toy indicated that he is interstate. Andy Nahas called Tony K and relayed the information from the SMS messages. During this call, Andy Nahas refers to Stephen Toy as that bitch and that girl. He also tells Tony K he reckons he is interstate. Tony K says, "Where's interstate?" Andy Nahas says words to the effect of, "I don't know, we're going on a holiday, cuz." Tony K says, "Alright, bye." Conversations have also been intercepted between Andy Nahas. 3 days later, on the 12th of May, about 20 heavily armed police raid the homes of Tony K and 3 other suspects, arresting and charging Tony K, Andy Nahas, and Olsen with kidnapping offences. I believe all were denied bail apart from Andy Nahas, who was released on a $25,000 bond paid for by his brother Joe Nahas. Along with the bond, Andy's bail conditions included report daily to police at Marylands, surrender passport to register at Liverpool local court, do not apply for any travel docs or approach any points of departure from Australia, not approach or contact any co-offenders, victim or witnesses or cause anyone else to, and a non-association order with any members of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club. On the face of it, this ordeal appears to be a pretty slam dunk case for the cops. You've got a witness, phone taps, CCTV footage, but what happens just a month later appears to derail the entire case. On the 15th of June 2009, the police receive a letter from Stephen Toy's lawyer advising them that Stephen no longer wished to be a witness. It reads as follows: "Dear Detective Sergeant Woods, re Stephen Toy. We've been instructed to advise and represent Mr. Toy in relation to an investigation which we understand is currently being conducted by you and by other members of the gang squad. We understand the police spoke to our client on or about the 17th of April when our client was a patient at Westmead Hospital. Certain allegations were apparently made by our client at that time, although at that time we understand no person was identified by it. We were also instructed that on a subsequent occasion our client was spoken to at a police station. At that time, further information was provided by our client to police in which persons were apparently named by him. We are instructed that our client has serious reservations and concerns of the accuracy of the information he provided to police. He instructs us that he is uncertain about the accuracy of allegations he has made, particularly as he was under a regime of medication on both occasions following prescription by hospital medical staff, which includes sedatives and painkilling medication in addition to antibiotics. Our client is not able to provide precise details of the medication, but no doubt the hospital records would confirm the details if necessary. Our client instructs us that he does not wish to pursue any allegations he may have made, nor does he wish to participate in any other interview by police, nor does he wish to become embroiled in any criminal prosecution as a witness. Our client wishes to resume his normal day-to-day life without being subjected to the pressure inherent in criminal proceedings over which he has no control, and in which allegations he has made, which are unreliable to say the least, given his previous medical condition, will be relied upon to prosecute other people. In these circumstances, our client has instructed us that he does not wish to be approached by police. If there are any further matters which the police wish to take up with our client, he requests that these be directed to this firm. Subject to any advice by this firm to the contrary, our client will not agree to be questioned directly. We look forward to receiving your confirmation that police will respect the wishes of our client. Yours faithfully, Chris Watson, Watson Solicitors." Odd. Police then get a forensic scientist to basically state, no, antibiotics are not magic mushrooms, they don't change your memory, quote. Their medication he was taking or prescribed would not have caused him to give inaccurate information to police or be uncertain of events which are described in Mr. Toy's statements. However, he was allegedly kidnapped and assaulted, which would be expected to have a traumatizing effect and may affect memory. Various legal skirmishes ensue over the following months. In December 2009, Andy Nahas's lawyers flagged their intention to cross-examine Stephen Toy. Keeping in mind, this is months after Stephen's lawyer had stated to the police that Stephen no longer wished to be a witness. The Department of Public Prosecutions agreed to cross-examination, yet there's a question as to if the hearing will even happen, as the key witness is not supporting the prosecutions. Then there are very little documents we've managed to view really until August and September of 2010. The most interesting one being this one dated the 6th of September 2010, where a police officer from the gang squad makes the following statement. Between the 2nd of August and 6th of September 2010, I made numerous attempts to locate Stephen Toy, including attending his last known premises. Every time I attended these premises, no persons were home. On the 6th of